Hi, I'm Spaceboy.
And I'm Sirlana.
And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe
on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.
This is Patrick Scott Spohr, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Yippee! 32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Sirlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
I'll get my act together sooner or later. Greetings and salutations. I am Spaceboy, and across from me is the lovely Sirlana, and this is a little show we like to call Spaceboy Universe. It is April the 4th, or excuse me, it's April the 13th, 2019. Man, am I losing it tonight. And tonight we're going to just be exploring the universe together, as always. Remember to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SB Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. And always follow us on Twitter. That's at the SB Universe. Follow Sirlana at Sirlana. Follow me, that's Spaceboy at Spaceboy Music. In addition to Twitter, you can find us all over social media. Just search for Spaceboy Universe. Hey, Space Cadets, you'll want to check out the YouTube channel. We'll do more than just the archive of shows there. There's video content from SB Music, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, which we should be doing some more 2-Bit Gamers here in the near future. And, the only way you're going to find out to see any of this is to go to the YouTube channel. And make sure to subscribe and click that bell to be notified when new content is available. Can't catch the show live? No problem. We'll take the SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartMedia, and Spotify, because, man, we like the broadcast. And on that magical note, hello, Sirlana. How are you?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
I just saw that.
God dang it.
Okay, he's going to have to take care of a spill.
I mean, I am like...
Yeah, so here's the thing. We're really out of it. I can't answer for Spaceboy. I have my own issues, but just know, Spaceboy, the over-the-counter medication I took is really working well, and I'm no longer in any pain. So I got that going for me.
Right now I'm in pain.
Yeah, so he's just knocked over a drink, and he's got to take care of that because we have expensive equipment that we can't get wet. So let me give it a quick roll call. Hey, Catalina over in Spreaker chat. Hey, K28 in both chats, and Bev and Bob over in our website chat. So when we're live and broadcasting like we are tonight, you're always welcome to join us in our Spreaker chat when we're live. And if you prefer to do some embedded chat on our website, go to spaceboyuniverse.com, look at our menu, and see SBU chat. Drop in there, click join to accept the terms, and you can hop in there. And the reason I prefer the embedded chat is because I can control our website, and we have a dark background, and I'm so prone to headaches and stuff, I can't look at that white background of Spreaker. Am I still on?
You are.
Okay, so he turned himself off so you don't have to hear him messing around trying to clean up over there. But please feel free to join us in either chat. Both Spaceboy and I are watching both chats. We're in here, so while he cleans up his act, so to speak. And the phone lines are open tonight all through the show. It will be the Skype line, which is the 713-701-5214. I'll leave that up to y'all when you want to call in. So we are a quite disorganized mess. And I'll take... Okay, K28, you want me to take a photo of him cleaning up his mess? Okay, it's blown out with the light here. Anyway, so I know Spaceboy's got things he was going to talk about, but I don't know if he's going to talk about it now or after.
I was ready to start.
Well, he might want to do it when the show comes back from the first break, because there's a lot of meat and potatoes, because I know he's feeling probably amped because of the trailer that came out, and I won't go any further than that. Maybe we'll talk about it when we come back. So let's talk about the things that I found before the show started. Now, we keep bringing up 5G, and the reason I do that is because I'm concerned about it. What are the repercussions of them, actually doing it? Is it going to affect our health? Are birds going to fall from the sky? So, I've got two headlines on this. The first one is, the White House is trying to push the 5G, and they're trying to get a rural broadband initiative. And the skeptics aren't sure where all this money is coming from. So the president and the FCC are trying to get this going, and they're thinking they're going to announce a plan to be a world leader in 5G and expand high-speed broadband access to rural areas across the country. I thought that was the whole point of living in a rural area, is not to have access to anything. Whatever. So the FCC does have plans to roll out a high-speed broadband to rural communities, and it's called the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. The FCC will fund it $20.4 billion into broadband networks to connect up to 4 million rural homes and businesses with high speed. Now, why are they trying so hard to reach everyone? That's the question I have. Why are they so rabid to get this done? Well, our friend in mine, IG Pie, the FCC chairman, try to not spit when you say his name. He says this is a critical tool towards closing the digital divide that will provide some of the critical infrastructure to connecting rural Americans with 5G technologies. Maybe rural Americans don't want to be connected. Maybe that's the whole point. They're in the rural areas. So they're going to be $2 billion each year over the next decade to allocate to funding this initiative. And I just don't understand why they're so eager, They're saying the administration's interventions on 5G have done more harm than good. I hope there's another quote here. I hope today's announcement offers better because our global leadership is at stake. So apparently, the White House thinks we're falling behind on 5G as a global leader. But I think there's more to it. I think there's some kind of dark, sinister side, and you could call me a paranoid freak. I don't care. I've been called worse. So that's going on, right? Now, let me tell you about some cows that already have 5G. Yes, you heard that right. These cows already have 5G, and you don't. So, the rollout of 5G in this country is sort of broken, thanks to silly marketing gimmicks like AT&T, and we talked about what they were doing, right? Which is meaningless and, embarrassing for them. But the next-gen wireless speeds do promise a lot, if that's all they were promising, is it's just high speeds and it's not like, mind control and sickness. They're already arriving in full force across the Atlantic in England, but only for one specific herd of cows. Cisco is testing an infrastructure for eventual global rollout of 5G that could be used by various companies that are not traditionally in the tech bubble, but are still wanting sophisticated hardware and software. This includes farming. So, Cisco is trying out 5G in 3 rural locations in England by giving farmers access to 5G connected cow collars and health monitoring ear tags that transmit biometric data about the cows to help workers monitor the herd from afar. That's kind of interesting, I have to say. So, this is over there in England, but they're using 5G technology to connect all this information. We can connect every cow, they boast over there. It makes a lot of sense. Farms are large and spread out. Cows are awful shuffled between grazing grounds and farm fields. This will be a way to check on them without having to go round them up if you don't necessarily need to. The 5G collars keep tabs on animals all day and all night without having to, physically go find them. And
so what happened to the use of RDFI tags to do that same kind of thing?
Well, the smart collars help automate the milking process by wirelessly communicating with a robotic milking system that lets it pass through gates after an ID check, hook up the robot with little to no human intervention, connect every cow on the farm. 5G can do for farming, can unleash the power within this farm. And that's basically all they have to say about that. My concern is, if and when they do roll this out, we won't have any say over it, and they can put a little mini tower in your front yard, and you can't do jack about it.
Well, I mean, it's already coming down the pipe. They're going to do what they want to do, basically. But going back, I guess, I've said this before, that 5G is a game changer, especially for automated cars. Mm-hmm. Because
getting instructions to it.
Yes, and it'll have that ability to make those changes faster than it can do now.
Everything okay on your side?
For the most part. I needed to clean it off over here, but I didn't expect it.
To wipe it down with iced tea?
Yes. But anyway, did Kay enjoy the picture of my misery over here?
Oh, I didn't post it. Let me pull it. I have to pull it off my phone.
Anyway, so I apologize, everyone, but I do welcome everyone to the show, and hopefully it will not be so messy as we continue.
Well, you were just enthusiastic, shall we say.
Well, I had this route that I was going to go, but I'm still going to go ahead and talk about it maybe when we do the next half hour. But so, yes, as Solana said, the new Star Wars trailer is out, and it is Rise of the Skywalker. And so I got the chance to watch it today, and overall, I'm not overly impressed with the trailer. I feel like after all this time of waiting for some trailer to come out, and it was kind of like, okay, this is it. I mean, there's some kind of cool scenes in there. I will admit, I got a little emotional when I saw everyone's scoundrel of a guy, Lando Calrissian. He was in the Millennium Falcon, driving it with Chewie. And so that was good.
It looked pretty decent.
Now, the one thing I did was I was impressed was the footage, how they handled Princess Leia.
Oh.
I mean, I thought it seemed seamless when Rey's hugging her.
And you're saying that's digital manipulation?
That's not digital manipulation. That's footage that they used from, like, The Force Awakens that didn't get shown.
I gotcha.
And so I thought it was really good, because one thing I noticed was, like, the back of her head and how her hair looked, spot on. So So that looked good. I mean, I guess as things move forward, we'll find out more. But the best part of the trailer, I thought, was the music. And the music really makes
Well, the music was borrowed, wasn't it?
Well, it has the hints of the love theme between Han Solo and Leia, exactly. So it does definitely borrow from the past. And but I mean, I guess we'll just wait and see. I haven't really seen any of the usual suspects I watch on YouTube talk about the celebration in Chicago, Star Wars Celebration. Mm-hmm. So I'm eager to see what their take was of this event, and I guess in the weeks to come they'll be reporting their ends on that. And because I really wanted to see what happened when Cray got on the stage with JJ and
nobody knows who you're talking about, dear.
I'm talking about Kathleen Kennedy, Kathleen Kennedy. So anyway,
at the very, I watched it with you because I didn't have a choice. I was sitting next to you. At the very end of that trailer, there's a laugh. Mm-hmm. Whose laugh is that?
That's Senator Palpatine.
The guy that wanted Vader to bring Skywalker to the dark side. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I clicked on a thing that says 9 possible ways the Emperor could return. And we know Senator Palpatine became the Emperor, right?
Right, the Emperor.
Okay, so he was killed in Return of the Jedi, or so we thought. He could have returned as a Force spirit, although that's harder to do for a Sith Lord. He may have used Force powers of Darth... What is Plagueis? Plagueis? To restore himself back from death. I don't know anything about that.
That's in the prequels where Darth Vader, where he is trying to convince Anakin that he was talking about his master, that he had the power to bring somebody back from the dead.
Okay. In the expanded universe, he came back as a clone. Mm-hmm. Of course, he may never have died at all. We'll find out when Star Wars Rise of Skywalker releases in November. So there's just some ways it could have happened.
Well, you can use what's his name, who was cut in half in the first movie, Darth Maul. Mm-hmm. I mean, he came back and he was very prominent in the Clone Wars. Came back in Rebels. So, I mean, it's possible that these characters come back. Even, I guess, in the game, he came back as a hologram.
But I don't understand the title of the movie.
Oh, Rise of the Skywalker?
So, I looked that up on Screen Rant, and it says it could be a reference to Rey being revealed as a Skywalker, or at least taking on the name. Mm-hmm. Maybe she adopts the name. Well,
from what I had seen today, too, was they could use the name like, how Caesar, there wasn't a lineage of Caesar from, Julius Caesar. They took on the name as a kind of a title.
Like a king, yeah.
Yeah, and so Skywalker could be considered a title of sorts, and that's what could be that. But
nothing in the previous movies even hints at a retcon is in place, so Rey could create a new order called Skywalker, molded after Luke's teachings. Mm-hmm. Another theory is Ben Solo, the last Skywalker, is redeemed and comes back to light. That was my second guess, is he's a blood Skywalker through Leia. Mm-hmm. Leia was. Fans have seen that before. It might be time for something new. So those are just 3 possibilities. So, yeah, what does that even mean?
Once again, it's like a wait-and-see kind of thing. I think that I was kind of wishing to see was maybe seeing a character out of Rebels. I mean, because Ahsoka should be in this movie, and I believe Ezra, and those characters go back to, like, the Clone Wars and Rebels. Mm-hmm. And one character we didn't see was Matt Smith is in this movie.
He likes to keep a low profile, I've noticed. Matt Smith.
So, didn't know, I would have loved to see that angle, but hopefully we get a better trailer than what was introduced. I mean, I know they were trying to keep this so tight-lipped, and strapped down.
Well, it's significant. It's the very, 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 very last one ever of the Skywalker saga.
And to top that off, Bob Iger of Disney, the big cheese over there, if you will, has announced that after this movie, we're probably going to have a hiatus, if you will, because they're focusing on the Disney Plus stuff now, which is their streaming service. Am I going to? Yes, I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
Yeah, because you've got The Mandalorian, and then plus, we tend to watch Disney content, and part of that Disney content is Marvel. And so, it makes sense for me to get that.
Well, I've been enjoying BritBox that you've subscribed us to.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I love British stuff. But so one last thing before we go to break or anything. Archive.org got hit with hundreds of false terrorist content notices from your friend and mine, the EU. The nonprofit Archive.org site was asked to remove archives of all books, TV, and cartoons and more by the EU. I'm like, you want to talk about balls of steel? Okay.
Well, let me ask you this: if the Archive.org site is not in the EU, do they even have a leg to stand on to enforce that?
Let's see. So, nations around the world are cracking down on online terrorist content, which is well and good, but I think, especially if they're using like an AI, they've got to really, you need some human eyes and common sense on this. So, they're introducing legislation that penalizes sites and ISPs if they fail to remove suspect content. What content's on archive.org? I don't know, especially if it's a historical thing, like 9/11 or something. So that fight could pose a real threat to sites like the Internet Archive. It's a non-profit site that saves old copies of web pages and other digital information. So the organization explained that it received more than 550 takedown notices from the European Union in the past week alone, falsely identifying hundreds of URLs on archive.org as terrorist propaganda. There's just no way that can be true.
Here's my concern. Does that mean if the EU finds a site that, let's say it's in America, that they're going to issue these things and try to go after American sites?
Well, let's see. The notices came from Europol's European Union Internet Referral Unit, EU or IRU, and its French counterpart, and they included these URLs containing millions of items, as well as links to scientific research, U.S. government reports, including TV footage from C-SPAN. Under legislation that EU is currently drafting, the Internet Archive could be hit with penalties, including up to fines of 4% of its global revenue, not honoring for takedowns within the notices from within 1 hour. The Internet Archive's Chris Butler says, not only were the takedown notices incorrect, they identified URLs that linked to all books the site hosts, for example, but they were sent in the middle of the night when the site staff was asleep. So they couldn't have taken it down in under an hour. They weren't there. Is that you?
Yeah, I guess it is. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, just the hits keep rolling here.
Yeah.
I guess we're getting a warning that the EU is going to shut us down tonight.
So, now this is the part that gets me. How can the proposed legislation realistically be said to honor freedom of speech if these are the types of reports that are currently coming from the EU law enforcement? Well, I don't know that the EU cares about free speech. The only people who cares about free speech is America because it's in our flippin' Constitution. So I wouldn't go around making statements like that because I don't think the EU is also the one that passes Article 13 about copyright laws. So it seems like to me the EU wants to take down everything on the internet because it just doesn't like it. That's my take on it. So the EU isn't the only government considering such changes. The UK, Canada, and Australia are looking for tighter regulations on online platforms. 3 of the other English-speaking countries that I thought, had her back, but I guess not. So they tend to emphasize the inability of companies like YouTube and Twitter to police what is already on their sites. Well, the fact that police are not always accurate and are not required to get their work checked by an independent authority means these processes are especially fragile. Unwarranted takedowns are already commonplace in the UK, where the government's internet counterterrorism issue cites more than 250,000 requests. And again, they're right. This is the same thing like YouTube is having a problem with, because they need human beings looking at content, looking at context, and looking at all
And
the
instead
channel's
they're
data.
using some kind of AI to
I think so, to scrub and
put in some
Filters
algorithm that searches for keywords and
Yeah, and sure, you could find keywords pop up everywhere, but if the content is not talking about terrorism, or if it's talking about it from a historical standpoint, like here's what happened on 9/11, here's what people said, and here's what people accused other people of, there's nothing wrong with that. But this is just going way too far. And once again, I'm pleased to be the age I am, and I'm getting older and out of, like maybe I don't have to live through this crap much longer. So, you people out there with young kids, good luck.
All right. That might tie in with what I'm going to talk to the audience in this next half hour.
Okay.
Well,
if we get hard up for content, I got some crazy headlines later in the program.
A teaser. Mm-hmm. Experts say our brains and computers will form the Internet of Thoughts, meaning to connect our brains to the Internet. And we'll get into that when we come back.
That's some biblical crap right there.
Yeah, so, there's all different connotations of where we're going to go with this. And so, okay, let's see if this works.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mama and them I said hi.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Roddy.
All right, we're back. And so, you know, I have been thinking of my own mortality lately. And once again, we come across a topic from the dailymail.co.uk where experts say our brains and computers will form some kind of internet thoughts. Now, once again, this kind of reminded me of Solaris Blue Raven. And when we've had conversations with her and talking about the hive mind kind of thing, and then I started thinking about this article, and injecting nanotechnology to connect to, I guess, the internet. Mm-hmm. And to, you know, I guess that would be a major jump in the evolution of man. And but of course, as many people have come across, many believe that this is like, like kind of like taking the mark of the beast and the end of all things. And see, I don't want to say I'm torn on the subject, but I mean, there's a part of me that would love to be able to know all knowledge instantly, you know, to make that giant leap. But I understand that...
Look what happened to Solomon when he had all that wisdom.
True. And, of course, I'm not going to be splitting any babies in half now, but...
Just because you have access to the internet, think how much garbage is on the internet, how much wrong information,
True.
how much stupid information is out there.
Although
I would love to be able to pull up an animated GIF of a cat like that in my own brain. That way I'm like, can I just filter the content I want to see, not the entire flipping internet?
I know the idea intrigues me to have instant knowledge like that, to be able to like instantly understand things that are way beyond my comprehension right now. Even be able to tap into, think about it. It's kind of like the Matrix when they say, okay, I need to know how to fly a helicopter, or
and they just push it over there to you.
And they download it into your brain kind of situation. Think about how, okay, the need, here's one thing that would become maybe obsolete would be schools.
That would be awesome.
You could just instantly, I want to be a doctor. And so you get all this content downloaded to your brain, and then you're a doctor instantly, like that. you become an expert on the subject matter. That intrigues me. To be able to then turn right around and then come up with solutions to problems that maybe machines could not come up with, but it takes a biological mind to maybe look at something. Mm-hmm. So, I guess you're prepared to make your maker when it's time, right, Solana? No? Okay. Well, I don't know. It's kind of like Doctor Who when he says, I don't want to go. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they're just, from what I've read, without having any nanotechnology put into my brain, the universe seems very fascinating to me. And to be able to have that time to actually literally explore would be something I'm definitely interested in. But I understand, every kind of situation like that comes at a cost, and is that cost our soul?
Yes, that's what concerns me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I refuse the idea of putting some kind of chip in my hand just so I can get a nice hot beverage from the Keurig machine at work. I think that's ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean...
Yes.
So...
like I said, I'm glad I'm aging rapidly, and maybe I'll just keel over of a heart attack, and I want to face any of this crap before it all goes down. And it just feels like the ocean, and it's creeping closer, and there's nowhere to run and there's nowhere to hide. And because I don't accept the party line, or I question everything, I'll be the first person they'll either try to turn or annihilate.
Well, the thing is to question everything with boldness. I mean, don't be weak about it. Just be bold when questioning things, because if you're weak, then you're just going to submit to whatever is trying to take a hold of you.
Yes. Hopefully that won't happen to me. Can you recap the whole Julian Assange thing?
WikiLeaks?
Yes.
Basically, he had information that, and I can't think of the sergeant who turned
right
into a woman, and he got that information. Well, transvestite.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, of course, of all things, Barack Obama pardoned her. I guess hopefully I'm saying the right
pronouns, right?
The right pronoun. God, I hate the world we live in, because I wish for a simpler time when you could call a woman and a man a man.
Or know that
yeah. So so Julian Assange they were trying to arrest him for having that information, but he ended up going to the Ecuadorian consulate. Mm-hmm. And he stayed there for like 7 years.
Well.
So somehow he got arrested, and so I guess he's in the process of being extradited to the United States.
Assange faces extradition to the U.S. This is dated today.
Mm-hmm.
Facing criminal charges in the U.S. over allegations he conspired to help Chelsea Manning hack into the Pentagon computer networks 9 years ago. London police forcibly removed Assange from the Ecuadorian embassy, where he'd been holed up, as you said, since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So, President Trump instigated a dramatic purge of the Department of Homeland Security leadership over a number of days, with Kristen Nielsen out as secretary. And so this means, I guess, this trickled down to maybe Assange. The Kaspersky Security Analyst Summit took place in Singapore this week. Researchers discovered a new spyware framework called Taj Mahal and new schemes to hack ATMs. They detailed the custom toolkits by Triton hackers, most dangerous malware in recent history. Turns out Exodus spyware comes in an iOS flavor in addition to Android. This is just security stuff for this week. So you've got Assange, you've got new dangerous malware coming. There's something going on with Amazon's Echo, but we don't have that, so don't worry about that. Silk Road 2's founder is going to jail. They keep trying to revive that, the Silk Road, the dark net.
Mm-hmm.
So, Yahoo could end up paying $117.5 million to settle over the largest data breach in history. So, there's just a lot of upsetting tech news going on. That's probably why we've been concentrating on pop culture, because everything else is just...
Well, now, there's this big old mess, about the... I hope you know about the Mueller report. About the collusion with that they were pointing towards Trump.
Oh, the Russian thing?
Now they're hoping that Assange is going to diverge something where he might make some kind of connection to Trump and the Russians. And so that's some of the congressmen and women want to get him over here so that they can pick his brain.
Yeah.
And, and I say, God, when will it stop? I mean, they're just refusing to accept that there was no collusion involved with Trump and the Russians.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm doing something inappropriate.
Stop looking at porn.
Well, I'm trying to pick out a birthday present for myself.
Oh?
For you to buy me. Here's how Disney Plus will take over the world. Okay? So, as you told me, they're going to launch November 12th of this year for the low price of $6.99 a month. Can you believe it? Entire Disney Ome. They're calling it Disney Ome. I don't know if that's a corpus of hundreds of movies, all Disney, most Marvel, all of Pixar, all of Star Wars, lots of Fox.
And I was getting ready to say is, what's going to give them Netflix a challenge for them is that
sheer content.
Disney has the ability to create content.
Yeah.
And
even more, hundreds of TV shows, National Geographic stuff, and exclusively The Simpsons, because The Simpsons is a Fox property, and they now own Fox properties.
Futurama too.
So if you live in a house with children, there's no way you're going to avoid subscribing. Or if you live in a house with someone like Spaceboy, there's no way you won't be subscribing. Slurping down The Mandalorian, co-joint Iron King, Lion King, new season of Clone Wars.
See, I think that's going to be great in the sense that, because there was that last season that wasn't quite developed for Clone Wars, so I'll be watching that. It'll be great to see the animated, like Lion King. Maybe they'll show Aladdin and some of the classic.
I'm not going to watch any of that.
Well, you can just stick to Brit Box. And
I will. Netflix, they're saying Netflix has evolved away from being the place where you could watch movies to being a place with weird niche TV shows, which I don't think is a terrible thing. It's part of the joy of scrolling through those feeds, finding your own little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you like science fiction, you can watch 1 or 2 episodes of this or that. And there's dramas that are coming out of other countries like Turkey and South Korea that people are eating up here. But Netflix has to have more global stuff to compete, to go forward. No brand of its own with a streamer has to rely on such diversity. They're showing a mock-up of a screen for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, not unlike what you see in Netflix. There's like a button for Disney, a button for Pixar, a button for Marvel, a button for Star Wars, and a button for National Geographic. How they scored that, I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, that was one thing when I saw. I was like, interesting.
So
Nat Geo.
Yeah, So people, whether people will redirect $7 a month entertainment toward Disney instead of Netflix, I doubt people will pick one or the other. Now, the thing is, I read, and I'm not seeing it in this particular, I'm not seeing it in this particular article, but in another place I saw that Disney Plus is considering bundling, and it might be Disney Plus,
and Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Like, we give a crap as nerds about sports. I don't want ESPN. We already have Hulu, and I don't even like it. That's all right. It's got some stuff that I've been watching. I want to get back into Gravity Falls.
Well, Disney has an advantage over other players entering the world of streaming video. It already, from things like CBS All Access, which is just CBS content, yet to come NBC Universal, which is still, I guess, on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
They've got content out the wazoo, right? And it's been kind of, well, they've really been teasing this for a while, that this is coming. So Disney Plus could be handled correctly, a built-out world. Imagine advanced tickets going on sale for Captain Marvel 2, but a day earlier for Disney Plus subscribers. Imagine you could get perks, like that. It's network's already going to be full of documentary series. Remember those things we used to watch back in the day, the Animal Kingdom documentaries and things? From Pixar to Marvel to a show set in a veterinary hospital at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park in Florida. Cheaper entrance to parks if you're a subscriber. Access to hidden levels or new characters in Disney games as a subscriber code. One night showings of movies from the vault, maybe even same day releases in theaters. They're saying this is speculative. That's how they could dominate. So Disney Plus may not be the Netflix killer or an Amazon Prime hunter. Netflix doesn't have a world. Disney does.
See, I think that's the next big thing that's coming down the pipe. You know how we were complaining about a la carte?
Yes.
With the cable company.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that the next big thing that these things, these streaming services need to get into is bypass the theaters and go directly to your TV.
I would love that. I do not enjoy
going to
sitting in a theater with other people.
Well, it's when you're sitting next to somebody. And
have we talked about Shazam?
No, we have not.
Well, we can do it without spoiling it. Right.
I guess.
Let me talk to you about the experience of going to see Shazam at 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning. The movie itself, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the weirdness that happened in the theater. We sat on the floors. Like when you walk in, you come around the ramp and you walk in, whatever that first level is. We sat in the handicap section because you did bring your cane, but we did that so no one would be next to you or next to me. But you did need that because you can't go up steps right now. You had your cane. So there was this woman, what'd she do every 10 or 20 minutes?
I really wasn't paying attention to her because I was trying to pay attention to the movie.
But there was a woman, an older woman, who was doing this strange little jog walk. Back and forth, back and forth.
I want to thank her for doing that because, it got her the hell out of the way so I could watch the movie.
Well, I was more concerned if somebody should have been looking after her. She had a purse that had two handles, and she had it over her neck, which wasn't designed to do, and she would just jog walk back and forth.
Well, I've seen some women put their purse like that on, and just so that they feel like nobody's going to steal their purse.
There was something else going on here, and I was like, do we need to be concerned about this? And then, halfway through the movie, a storm hit. a little nasty, violent storm with hail. And I guess because the theater is on the second floor of the mall, maybe you said maybe the air conditioning units are up on the roof.
Well, when we
do you think that's what happened?
When we walked in and we were getting our tickets at the front where we show our QR code thing when they scan. They were talking back and forth about the AC unit going out.
Oh.
And at that point, and so I didn't think anything of it. I mean, it was.
I thought the storm took it out or something.
It was comfortable in there.
I didn't even notice that, honestly. At some point during the movie, the sound went really low.
It dropped off.
It dropped off for a few seconds and came back.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that had to do with
it could have been
the electricity being interrupted for a minute.
It could have been a power outage quick, but
yeah, because we heard the thunder in the theater, and it was pretty quick and violent out there. So when we left the theater and the movie's over, they handed us rain check vouchers.
That's funny.
And I wasn't sure why, because there was, like, the sound thing, we're talking, 15 seconds? It didn't even last. It's like, was it because of the sound?
I don't even think it was that long. It was like a blip.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's okay. So something went wrong that we didn't know about, but they gave everybody rain check vouchers, so that means we get to see a free movie.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to go see Hellboy
So it was
tomorrow.
worth going to see it. We
got a free movie out of it.
We got a free movie, so
we're not going to have to pay for Hellboy. We've got free tickets to go see that.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, I just read a little bit about it, and they say Hellboy seems like it's a death metal cover of Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy. It's just blood and gore with no substance or story. And it doesn't have the heart and the struggle that the Ron Perlman versions do. But I'm like, well, it's something to do. And it's going to be free for us. So we're still going to go. I just think that even if the writing isn't good, maybe the script isn't good, maybe the story isn't good, I just think that David Harbour will probably do an excellent job as Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
I bet he'll be better than Perlman. His makeup's already better.
Anyway, back to Shazam.
Back to Shazam.
It was really good. So if you're up for seeing a good Captain Marvel movie, then you should go see Shazam. And what was that, an eye roll over there?
Yeah, I know. You just think you're so clever, like you have this little bit of information no one else has.
And speaking of Captain Marvel, I did see Brie Larson's movie on Netflix. I forgot what it's called. It was not a bad movie, but I guess what it is that she really left a sour taste in my mouth as far as
voicing her opinions.
Voicing her opinions, exactly. So,
well, anytime someone in Hollywood does that, I'm just like.
And I know you haven't heard, but the movie Captain Marvel grossed over $1 billion.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so $1 billion movie, but so that means she's not going anywhere. At least, I guess, according to Disney. But I think what we bought tickets to Endgame, believe it or not, and that's how eager we are. At least I am to go see this movie. And
you did buy that, didn't you?
I bought tickets in advance to go see Endgame, and I'm really looking forward to that because I'm tired of seeing all these. I guess Endgame theories.
Yes. I'm tired of you watching. Oh, goodness.
So, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure Solana's looking forward to me actually getting it out of my system.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you seeing it. You and I will have discussions about it, and that will be it. And do you reckon once we've seen it, we'll understand where Spider-Man Far From Home fits into this whole thing?
Yes, I guess we'll finally see if Parker comes back from the snap, the snapping, and
oh snap!
Yes. So you know what? We're probably about a minute early for a break. We're going to go ahead and take a break. What?
Nothing.
Talk to me.
No, you have to turn this off.
Okay, I guess I'm going to get an earful, so I'll take the break so I can get my butt chewed out for something.
No, it's not you.
We'll be right back.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Hey, Solana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ron.
All right, we're back. And so is there something else we can move on?
Well,
because I know our audience get kind of bored with the pop culture aspect of our show.
Well, just kind of tying you back to what you said, you wish you could access all the knowledge of the internet, to have the wisdom of Solomon if you could. Well, if you did, maybe you could help the people of a Mississippi neighborhood. Mississippi neighbors are perplexed by a mashed potato mystery. This is dated yesterday. Residents of a neighborhood Mississippi area are trying to get to the bottom of this mystery. Someone has been leaving mashed potatoes in various locations. Neighbors in Belhaven area of Jackson, Mississippi said they've been finding plates of mashed potatoes in locations including porches, mailboxes, tops of vehicles, bird baths. This neighborhood does a lot of quirky things. We decorate our road signs. We put Christmas trees in our potholes. So it's kind of not surprising. That's why I love this neighborhood. It does many strange things. But this is definitely the weirdest thing I've ever seen since living in Jackson. This is a resident who's in this neighborhood. He found mashed potatoes on the top of the car. They have yet to uncover the motive behind this prank. Some are thinking the mashed potatoes were poisoned to kill animals. I didn't taste it. I have a 3-second rule, so I didn't touch it. But some people are worried, said another resident who found a plate on his doorstep. Neighbors said they have not involved the police so far since the prank appears to be harmless. But yeah, now I know where I'm going to move to if I get tired of this place. Oh.
Trump weighs sending unlimited supply of immigrants to sanctuary cities. And, you know, if you haven't heard on the news, I mean, we've been inundated on the border with people just getting across the border. And so these people were flooded in these places where the ICE has kept these illegal immigrants. And now they're talking about releasing them to sanctuary cities. And why is that a concern for me? Well, Houston is considered a sanctuary city. And you're talking about releasing thousands of people into a city that can pretty much disrupt maybe services that we already currently have in our city. This is getting outrageously out of hand, and what happens is Nancy Pelosi is got a thing against Trump, and she refuses to do anything about the immigration situation. And it's not like the Democrats were opposed to immigration, but they're just flat out refusing to work with the president on anything because Nancy Pelosi just does not like Trump. And that is a sorry excuse for letting our country descend into a chaotic mess. And that's got me quite concerned right now. So
I don't know if we could take the influx of that.
No, in fact, my concern is that these waves of people that are coming in, it's almost like a Trojan horse, if you will, where you have a wave of people come in, and you're overloading the system is what you're doing, is that these waves are overloading. And then the real question needs to be asked is, how are these people getting all the way from South America into the United States? These caravans. We're talking about lots of people coming this way.
I was thinking they have help.
Yeah, they have
here on the inside.
Yeah, they have some kind of help from the inside, and maybe that's something I need to look into and see who possibly could be the person behind the curtain that's manipulating the strings. But I mean, it's a concern. You know, as a Texan, I'm concerned because we have the border right there in our backyard. and this influx is going to significantly impact Texas. Not alone. I mean, you have Texas, you've got New Mexico, you've got Arizona, and then of course California. So it's a situation that everyone needs to be concerned about here in America, and this isn't a left-right situation. This is an American situation where if we don't wake up and take control, then we're going to be in a situation where we're not living in America. This whole nation will just disintegrate, and there's a lot of people that rely on Americans across the globe. It's a place a place where people can come when persecuted, or people come for opportunity mostly, to create their own destiny. And I know for some of these immigrants, they're looking for that opportunity. I mean, and then plus you got to look at the economy's doing good. 70% approve of what's going on as far as our economy is concerned. In fact, we even got a little tax refund, and we didn't do much as far as to get the tax.
I was shocked. I was really shocked by that.
So,
I'm sorry I don't have anything to add to that.
No,
I would have to have some research behind me.
Sure.
To really engage you on this topic.
I'm just all I say is I'm just concerned that this influx of people coming into our, I'm actually not opposed to shutting down the border just till we get this all sorted out, because these detention centers are overflowing and they're having to release people without, with the promise of them coming back to court so that they can have their day in court. But a lot of these people don't come back into court because they feel like, okay, I'm in. I just need to stay low, so I don't get caught by the police or ICE, for that matter. So,
again, I don't have anything to contribute on that. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I didn't know you were going to.
The phone number is 713-701-5214, 713-701-5214.
So, earlier this week, I think it was Monday, I'm driving to work and everything slams down to a halt, and I saw the billboard, the digital sign that says there's been a major accident at blah, 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 blah. And it's between me and work, and 2 right lanes shut down. Now, I-10 is a big part of I-10 that goes through Houston that is managed lanes. It's like, is it 12 lanes wide? 8 lanes wide? With the managed lanes? And so this is past that. It's just past that. It's back down to the normal size of I-10. And I was almost late for work, and when I passed the accident, I think they had cleared everything but one vehicle, and it was all these emergency vehicles, and the vehicle in question was sitting on its roof. It was crumpled, and it was like all the paint had been burned off. It was like bare metal. And I went, that's pretty major. And you have to think, I'm thinking, how you want to go backwards in your mind, how did it happen? And I never did find how it happened, like looking it up. You're on a straight shot of road. It was not raining. It was still dark, but there was why did this happen? And I don't want to make light of it because it looked like probably someone didn't walk away from this. But it had me wondering about, when you see car accidents, you always wonder how it happened. But so I just happened to look at this website, and it said, there's a picture of the actual car, this front of this 4-door sedan. The hood, the engine, all that is just crumpled mess beyond repair. It says, this is in New York State crash blamed on spider in the car. And I was thinking, that would do it for me. Now, I don't have a problem with spiders. I'll share the car with a spider. But if it gets on me, all bets are off. So, the New York State Police said the driver offered an explanation for what caused her to lose control of her car. There was a spider inside. So, the police department responded with personnel and medics, and emergency personnel to get the vehicle off the road when it crashed. She suffered a leg injury. She lost control when she spotted a spider close to her. And we know it's easier for some drivers than others, but please try to teach new drivers yourselves to overcome fear and pull over to a safe place. Lives depend on it. And I do agree with that, but I feel like if it's a spider, I might can handle it. But if it's like a cockroach, it's like I might be taking out dozens of cars if it's me in the car.
Just need to train yourself to slowly get over into the emergency lane and then deal with it.
It's tough, though. You remember when I told you about a week or maybe so ago, I don't know if I even told it on this show, but I remember telling somebody, here in Houston, like right on the outskirts of Houston, PetSmart or what's the other, Petco has a open door policy about as long as it's on a leash, your pet is welcome. And so somebody here in Atascocita, which is right on the outskirts of Houston, decided to test this theory, and he brought his giant African steer, the one with the giant horns, very placid animal, walked it right into Petco, and everybody went insane with happiness because it was very chill. It was a very chill steer. Now, not to be outdone, some guy in Michigan brought his camel into a PetSmart. And I think it was on a leash, showing handlers that camels a tour of the PetSmart store in Muskegon. There's a video that shows customers reacting with surprise and amusement. Oh, he's normally a petting zoo camel, so he's used to being touched and being around people. And it was just sort of like people are trying to test, like, is any animal welcome in these pet stores as long as they're on a leash? And it looks so far, as long as your animal's well behaved, you can take anything in there. I just thought that was interesting.
The world's biggest airplane takes flight for the first time ever.
Saw that.
I just posted that in our chat room. The Strato Launches rocket launching plane took off early Saturday morning and safely landed after 2 hours later. That thing is huge looking.
I saw it. It doesn't look like it should work, in theory, because of how big it is.
I think that is based on a German design that I've seen in the archives.
Well, I looked at it and went like, am I seeing something from the past? When I looked at it, I was like, oh no, this is new.
Another one, picture I posted in the chat room was the scientists have actually been able to photograph a black hole. Yes, everybody's been sharing that like crazy. I think. Is it real? Yeah, it's definitely real. And it's got like it's 1,000 times bigger than in other words, 1,000 of our suns could fit into the hole. Wow, and our sun's not puny. No, it's a small sun. It does what it needs to do to keep us alive, but there are bigger suns out there. Yeah, I've seen the comparisons, but still. The star Sirius is pretty huge. It's a blue star, and definitely more massive than our own star. So, anyway. Everybody's been going crazy, and of course they've been photoshopping that like crazy, and I've been enjoying that. The memes they've made out of it, I've enjoyed that. I just saw something out of the corner of my eye that'll make you happy. What? NCIS renewed for season 17. Really? Fascinating. What is it about that show? Grab your gear, let's go. That keeps it going. It's got to be formulaic, right? There's a certain degree of... I think what it is that the characters... it's funny because I've seen it since day one. And, what's helped me get through it was being able to binge the show. And so it's a good show, especially for a man of my age. Okay. I admit that it's one of those shows that... Baby,
isn't an old fart show.
It's not.
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to Matlock, but you know.
It's an old fart show.
Or Murder, She Wrote.
Mm. Oh, God, you're funny sometimes.
Well, you know, that reminds me of, you know, as many people know, I'm in IT, and so I was helping this end user, and he was definitely an older gentleman, and while I was helping him, he was watching the Andy Griffin Show. And, you know, I recognized the show that he was watching, that particular episode, and we just started talking about it. And it was just funny because I knew the episode, and we were just talking, and I got into a conversation about Don Knotts and how I enjoyed him when he ended up getting together with what's his name from Carol Burnett's show?
Tim Conway?
Tim Conway, thank you very much. And then towards the end of the conversation, I realized, God, I am so old. And granted, I wasn't alive when Andy Griffin initially aired, but I told him, I said, yeah, I got a lot of those shows on syndication, you know. So. I mean, I was going to say, you know, it's not as bad. I can even enjoy shows like Ma and Pa Kettle.
That's going back.
That's going back way back in the time machine. Dagwood. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people might know Dagwood from the comic, but there was an actual show, Dagwood, that was Blondie, is what the name of the comic strip is, and Dagwood is the name of the character, I guess the husband of Blondie. So anyway,
well,
I'm getting old, man.
I don't care much about horror movies. I don't think maybe I've seen 5 in my whole life or something, but and I probably may not end up seeing the remake of Pet Sematary.
Yeah, but you keep talking about it like you do.
Well, I talk about it because you know I love cats, and so I've read about the 8 cats it took to play Church. That's the name of the cat in the movie Church the cat. And why they decided to make it a Maine Coon. Well, Stephen King is from Maine. He sets a lot of his stuff in Maine, so why not make the cat a Maine Coon? So, what caught my eye was some random person put out a tweet about Pet Sematary. And they said, I wonder whose job it was to dirty up the cats for the dead version of the cat that shows up in the movie. And he says, I speculate it's something like, well, got to get up early tomorrow and rub Vaseline and coffee grounds on this cat. But the cat from the still is so badass looking, and it's just that stare right through. Cats can just do this anyway, to stare right through you.
I guess I'm not really interested in this movie.
I'm not either, but I'm interested in the cat.
Because I've already seen Pet Sematary, the original.
You've seen the original, but you don't remember the theme song, which is by the Ramones. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. It's typical, you know, Ramones stuff. But yeah, they're saying it missed the point of the novel, which is, of course, it's based on, all his stuff is novels. It was based on a novel.
You mean the original?
The original. It misses the point of Stephen King's novel. They're saying it wasn't actually that scary. And the difference is the cat, Church, is in this movie a whole lot more than the British short hair from the first one.
If we're going to talk about Stephen King, the movie I'm looking forward to is It 2.
Oh, I never saw it. Never saw either It.
Well, we have it on Amazon right now for you to watch.
Yeah, it's sitting there. Oh, God, you have a ton of stuff on Amazon for me to watch. I'm just like, yeah, books.
Anyway.
That's why I don't see anything, because there's books to read. But
713-701-5214.
So, we've talked about this before, I think, in passing, about... And I thought for a while it was maybe like a creepypasta, but apparently it's a real thing. human feet that wash on the shore.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing that, yeah.
14th human foot in a hiking boot washes ashore in Canada. And they're saying it's been going on long enough. There's a Wikipedia page for this. It's baffled people for a long time. There's been investigations, but the official explanation for this is they say don't panic. There's no foul play. The reason there's a lot of human feet on beaches is because there's just a lot of dead bodies floating out there. I'm like, okay, yeah, I feel much better now. I just couldn't believe that, you know.
A lot of dead bodies floating out there from what? What, crash wreckage or...
I suppose so. I just, you know...
I don't know. It's just an easy cop-out to say, don't panic. Make sure you have your towel.
Yeah, isn't that weird? So, those are weird Canadian headlines, by the way. I'm looking at some crazy stuff here. I don't want to dig deep into this one. Doctors find 4 bees living under a woman's eyelid.
How does that happen?
I don't want to know. Toddler locks dad's iPad for 48 years. Can you do that?
How does one lock it?
A D.C. man said his 3-year-old failed to correctly guess his password and locked his iPad for more than 25 million minutes. So he tweeted this photo of his iPad that was locked with a lock screen. The device said it'd been locked for 25,536 and 442 minutes, meaning 48 years, because his toddler guessed too many incorrect passwords. It looks fake, but it's our iPad today. After 3-year-old tried to unlock it, he's asking the internet for ideas. So he acted on some advice from another Twitter user and put the tablet into firmware update mode, which allowed him to restore it from a previous state. So update on the toddler iPad lockout, he got it to the firmware mode, and he's restoring it. So thanks to the shared advice. So apparently you can lock your stuff up for quite some time.
Egypt unveils a colorful 5th Dynasty tomb, and I've posted a picture as always, and it looks very magnificent. The color on this tomb. It's a major discovery. Egypt on Saturday, once again, everything
that
happens,
is pretty.
Everything happens on Saturday. Unveiled this tomb of the 5th Dynasty, officially adorned with colorful reliefs and is well preserved. So, I mean, I imagine
that is pretty well preserved.
There's a lot, I imagine, a lot of areas in these tombs where they have it blocked off and they don't allow anybody go in, no matter what. And a lot of it's preserved still. So.
But that's like, okay, maybe there's a few pieces that are flaked off the wall, but I mean, that is pretty darn good for being that old. I guess that's, if you don't let people in there, you can keep something forever.
So yeah, the tomb looks very colorful. Check it out. It's
I like it.
It's in the SBU chat room.
I'm still looking for content here, sorry. Invasive fish seized from shipment at Texas airport. I don't know why people are trying to bring invasive species through customs and, you know, smuggling this stuff in. I mean, what's the purpose of that? I love it when geese attack people. I don't know why. I guess it's that time of the year, you know, spring. So they're starting to go after people if they're near the nest or something. Bears escape from New York Wildlife Refuge. They look like they're having a great time, though. You got anything over there?
No, I do not at this time. 713-701-5214.
Okay. Told you we weren't organized. So does that mean they're not going to show The Simpsons on Fox TV? Is there still going to be a Fox television network?
Yeah, there will be Fox TV.
Not that I care. I'm just curious.
Disney jumps the most in nearly 10 years after unveiling streaming service cheaper than Netflix. Did you read that one?
Well, that it's going to be $6.99, and what they're up to $10 on Netflix.
I guess what I'm talking about is their stock has increased.
Okay.
Since announcing their streaming service.
Right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have content at the wazoo, right?
Yeah, the Disney stock jumped Friday after announcing its Disney video streaming service. So yes, the stock is good. The next big company to get into that billion mark, maybe. I mean, they make money hand over fist, except when you're Kathleen Kennedy, and I will never let it go.
It was always the plan to bring back Palpatine in Star Wars 9. Apparently, Kathleen Kennedy explains it, so I won't read that because I don't want you to blow a gasket. We were talking during a break, and I said, the one thing they have not been showing in trailers for Endgame or interviews, or maybe I haven't seen enough, is they're not talking about Hulk and Banner.
You're not watching what I'm watching.
Okay, they're not?
They are talking about Banner, and although he doesn't seem much in the credits or the current trailer, it's the inevitability that the Hulk is his story arc ultimately is going to be a situation where he and Banner come to some meeting of the minds, if you will, and we get the intelligent Hulk.
You said Professor Hulk.
Yeah, well, intelligent Hulk, Professor Hulk.
He's Hulk, but he's calm.
He's calm. He's not as angry. What I'm looking forward to, this actually could push him into Phase 4. See, here we go. Get back into this in-game situation. Or Phase 4, he could, come back and maybe we can get the Red Hulk.
Well, in case you've missed everything, here are the key movies you need to watch before Endgame. You do need to watch 2008's Iron Man. You will need to watch 2012's The Avengers. You will need to watch 2016's Captain America Civil War. And you will need to watch last year's Infinity War. You will need to see this year's Captain Marvel. You should also at least watch the end credits of Ant-Man and the Wasp before Endgame. Because every single one of them does lead to it's a chain, So those are the ones you're supposed to watch for sure. Sorry for the pause here. Oh my gosh. Star Wars has some bizarre looking aliens. Now, I didn't see Solo. You saw Solo.
Mm-hmm.
What is Therm Scissor Punch? That's a weird looking creature.
I'm not sure.
That is a weird looking thing. Oh, they say yes, that is the Death Star 2.
Yes.
In the Star Wars 9 trailer.
And supposedly Rey's going to go down and find some map to other Jedis.
Oh, wow. Oh, the thing that the guys are wearing in the trailer for Endgame, that white and red.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a hoodie you can buy that looks like that. That was kind of interesting. I thought that. We finally finished One Punch Man. And I'm irritated I don't have access to Season 2, because that does exist. So, I'm going to have to go hunt that down, see if there's a way we can find it. Or maybe it's just not available in America, that ticks me off. But I really enjoyed watching One Punch Man. And it's on Netflix, and it is dubbed in English, which I don't mind at all.
Hey, audience, I bet you've been waiting for this.
are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
hey, trying to find some like other topics in our 6 topics, like music or technology, but we don't follow bands or anything because we're turning into old people. So, did find something interesting. There's this band called Muse.
By the way, I know Muse.
You know Muse, I know Muse.
I follow Muse.
I like some of their things. Let's say if you like Spaceboy music, you'd probably like Muse. So, they've been on a world tour, and the world tour was called the Drones World Tour. And during their performance, they actually fly drones over the audience. And this band is very ambitious when it comes to technology and their live performances. They want to get more into the live experience with more technology. They were at a music conference in London where we were talking about this. So we want to do a stage made of magnets so the band can levitate on other magnets. It sounds pretty crazy, but so they actually launched a world tour back in February here in Houston, believe it or not. So they want to try. They said they asked Dom Howard whether it's some of the elements of levitation going on in Muse's Simulation Theory World Tour. He says, well, we've said a lot of things. I mean, quantum levitation is not quite user-friendly and enough yet for mass viewing. Maybe one day, unfortunately, in the world of concerts, people are still relying on wires and pulleys. So they're trying to do crazy, theatrical, otherworldly rock concert experiences. They're extravagant. It sounds expensive. They want to be very different from their other tours.
Mm-hmm.
They want to incorporate performers, other singers, musicians, and physical performers. They want to move away from just a band playing on stage with a screen and in the background to playing a bunch of stuff on it, which is, they feel like that's what more people seem to be doing. It reminds me of Pet Shop Boys, where they have a screen and they do have performers and they try to do some interactive projection stuff. And Neil puts on his bowler hat that's covered in disco tiles, like a disco ball, and they shoot a beam of light at his hat. And every time he moves, you've got the disco ball effect. We were lucky to see them live. But Muse wants more people and more performers on stage with them, and they have to be more theatrical, have more humanity than just tech. I think that would be a cool band to see live if they ever come back here. They want... it sounds like they I get kind of bored with these bands that are doing, what's the Tupac thing they did where it was like...
The hologram thing?
Yeah.
They did it with Michael Jackson, too.
That's impressive, but there's got to be more they can do.
Roy Orbison, they did it with him, too.
Yeah. Saying that, I think they would be very cool to see on in person, this band Muse. But something that I just saw that seems a little troubling. Google decides AI Ethics Council. Google dissolves AI Ethics Council 10 days after forming it. Having trouble speaking, and I don't know why. So 10 days after forming an advisory council to guide the company's development of artificial intelligence, when we say AI, Google shuttered the committee and has gone back to the drawing board. So what went wrong and why did they do this so quickly? Well, they had named it the Advanced Technology External Advisory Council. How about this? Why don't you shorten your name? That way you don't spend so much time talking about your name. The committee was formed to ensure the responsible use and development of artificial intelligence within Google. So they had debates raging over military uses of AI, to surveillance of citizens, to ethical issues. So there's plenty of needs to have an advisory board to talk about what you should be doing with AI. Not at least, they say, in terms of data bias, which can AI systems blindly entrench prejudice based on information fed to it. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the program. you can tell AI to look for something, but it doesn't, it maybe can't understand nuance and context and intent like a human being can make judgments. So they selected members, which was immediately controversial, including CEO of military drone company, a member with openly anti-trans views, a board member immediately resigning, and with any remaining members having to defend their position on the council. From the outset, it was poorly equipped to tackle the AI concerns for ethical use. One of the primary factors for closing this council could have been the response of Google's own staff. An internal body known as Googlers Against Transphobia published an open letter criticizing the appointment of K. Cole James, president of conservative think tank Heritage Foundation, an opponent of some rights. So I guess they didn't like some of the personal views of people on this board, and they protested. The potential harms of AI are not evenly distributed, fellow historical patterns and discrimination exclusion. Well, that's not AI. They're talking about the actual people who are deciding about ethics of AI. I guess they think if a person's personal ethics are screwed up, how can they sit on this board for a computer for, talk about the ethics of using artificial intelligence? So I guess I get that from AI doesn't recognize trans people, it doesn't hear feminine voices, it doesn't see women of color, to AI used to enhance police surveillance, profile immigrants, and automate weapons. Those who are marginalized are at risk. That was some of the concerns, I guess, of forming a committee and some of the concerns of the ethics of AI. So shutting the committee down might have been to avoid a PR disaster. But it actually does want to put a council together on the ethical problems plaguing AI development. But I think it's interesting they can't even get a committee formed worrying about human ethics before they get to the ethics of AI. That just kind of fascinated me. Back to the sort of like a pop culture thing, but it's more about food. Mm-hmm. I love mirror.co.uk, weird news section. That's just like my favorite place to go. It's not updated that often, but I just found this new thing. KFC has given Colonel Sanders a whole new look, and it's left its fans flustered. Now, I don't know if this is here in this country. I have a feeling maybe it isn't, because surely would have heard about this. And I'm looking at, it's the image is, the caption below, it says, KFC have turned Colonel Sanders into an influencer. So basically they found a toned, muscular man, and they've given him the hipster, swoopy, gray hair with mustache and beard, like really well groomed. He's wearing a tank top and kind of like white sweatpants. Mm-hmm. And they have another one of him where he's in a white kitchen. He's got on a white hoodie, and he has on a t-shirt that has a print of the suit that the colonel we know wears. And his shirt is open, and another one, it says, it's a tattoo that says, secret recipe for success. I'll have to share this link in both chats because you have to see this to believe this. And I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but it's worth looking at the photos. It's so bizarre. The fast food chains give him an interesting makeover. You're not ready for the results. They've turned Colonel Harlan Sanders into a virtual Instagram influencer, and it's kind of left some social media drooling. Instead of the sweet old man, you get this dashing silver fox, complete with tattoos on his abs. Company changed up their Instagram account. Well, they're trying to probably stay hip, with that format, Instagram.
Got some alien-looking woman next to him, and
alien-looking woman.
Well, did you see the one with the woman next to him? You got to scroll down further.
Oh, the weird supermodel, yeah. All the posts feature captions and style of influencers using hashtags as hashtag humble, hashtag grinding. Very strange. So KFC customers and fried chicken fans have been loving this company's quirky marketing stunt, and many are lusting over his new look. One person said, the only reason I'm going to KFC right now, he's got a girlfriend called Dagny, the alien girl. Yeah. Boy, gonna take your girl and leave you with a bucket of chicken and a side of potato wedges. KFC making me thirsty. Stop before McDonald's makes Ronald hot, please. I'm begging you. Get the old Colonel back. So, yeah. That's strange, but kind of funny. I just wanted to share that. Somebody wants the phone number again. 713-701-5214. 713-701-5214. If you're trying to call in.
Okay.
Ow.
We're live again.
Did you want me to share that number?
Well, if you want to call in, we've got 10 minutes before we hit our break.
Yeah, you only have 10 minutes to talk at 713-701-5214.
Is Skype even on?
Yeah, Skype's on. I've got it up and running. I'm looking right at it. Maybe I said it too fast. Let me type it out there for y'all. 713-701-5214. Somebody was asking for the number. I can't remember who it was.
It was Bev.
Oh, it was Bev. A lot of these I can't share. These are kind of controversial. Some of these weird links.
Controversial how?
Well, they even have this blurred out. I can't. Oh, let's see. Terrifying. Yep. That's a lot of this is show and tell, you know. Plane passengers baffled as UFO splits into 6 pieces and vanishes into midair. That's interesting. I haven't seen a lot of like UFO news because I don't know if I'm just not going to the right places.
Well, I don't think we've really been tapped into the UFO market in general, and
I don't know what's a good place, like a good site to go to that's reliable for news for that. I was going to like Open Minds, that's because they have a lot of content there.
It's a good site to go to. Linda always has her broadcast on YouTube.
True. I mean, her site's great, but you do have to subscribe to get to a lot of the content.
We have a subscription to her site.
Well, I don't know anything about the login to that, so I did not know that. I would love a KFC birthday party. I think that would be cool. But I'll be happy with some catfish.
What, next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend maybe? Think so?
Well, you did ask for catfish, so...
Well, I mean, if it doesn't happen, I'll be alright. It's not like we can't ever go there,
Well, this week what we have... Riff Tracks to go to, and...
On my birthday. Riff Tracks Live. I can't wait. That's going to be good. It's going to be some really terrible, horrible B movie like normal. But we always have a good time. And so we got Hellboy tomorrow, Riff Tracks Live, Endgame. Beyond that, I guess we'll end up... You think we'll go see Spider-Man?
Yes.
We'll probably just go see it?
Yes, because of your lust for what's his name?
I don't have a lust. I just think he's cute in that, like, I don't like kids and he's an adult, but I would adopt him if he was up for it. What about the Godzilla thing?
It might be somewhere in there.
That's going to be later. And you'll probably be going by yourself to Star Wars in December.
It's still a far ways to go.
It's in a galaxy far, far away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, like I said, Endgame's going to be the one you and I will finally be focused on after Sunday. Oh yeah, Disney Plus will be ad-free with the option for Hulu and ESPN. Hopefully, they're not going to force that on us. So, and you'll be able to download content, but you can do that with Netflix, can't you? You can download something to watch later.
I think you can do it now. Yes,
but I can't imagine.
That's like if you're going on a trip and you know you're going to be in a dead zone, like here in Houston off of 10, and it still irks me.
Yeah, is that at a certain time of day, or is that just an area?
It's just an area.
Because I didn't know if it was like maybe early in the morning it doesn't work right, or I guess it doesn't make sense. I thought other markets overseas had Disney Plus already.
No.
But they don't. So what they're saying is it will go worldwide by the end of not next year, but 2021.
Yeah, it's starting off here in America first.
So $69.99 for an annual subscription. That's not. Is that bad?
How much for $69?
That's the whole year. That's your $6.99 a month.
I guess it's not bad if you take what Netflix is charging.
Yeah.
An arm, a leg, and a testicle.
Well, I have a feeling this is an introductory price, and probably
probably just as bad as Uber Eats with their 15% service charge.
Oh my gosh! Yes. So they're doing a live-action Lady and the Tramp.
Mm-hmm.
And I would.
It's just a matter of time before they do. What was the name of the two mice? The Avengers.
The Rescuers?
The Rescuers, yes.
That might have a little potential. I don't know. I loved the Rescuers movies when I was a kid. I mean, really young. I just adored them. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before they put that. I mean, because they're turning all their animated movies into live-action movies. That's their trend, what they're doing right now.
So they ran out of things to do? New content?
I guess they got the taste bug for doing live action movies.
Maybe I need to start taking down some of these dreams I have and writing them as screenplays, turning them in. To give them some new ideas. Oh, is The Walking Dead still on? Is it not over?
The Walking Dead is, I think, on hiatus right now, but they're still. But funny you bring that up. There is a new zombie-like movie on Netflix right now called Black Summer, I believe it's called, and I'm waiting to dive into that one to see how that goes down.
What the heck? Star Trek theory: Discovery will explain the Klingon Messiah with time travel. Oh man, that just hurt my brain to read it. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I don't watch Discovery, so
there's some time travel going on right now. That's going to ultimately end in. They recently were on the board of the Enterprise. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was an updated version of the Enterprise.
The original, you mean?
Yes, and it still had that. The corridors kind of have that, still that old look, but still modern at the same time.
Do you still watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I haven't watched that in forever.
Oh, it says Sean Astin's going to be a guest star on that. I kind of just saw that in passing. I used to have a crush on him when I was little, when The Goonies was out.
He was on Big Bang Theory for a little bit.
YouTube TV raising its price. I don't know what YouTube TV is. That's not what we have, is it?
I think that's what it's probably what we have. Yes.
It can't be because I'm paying like $10 a month. This says YouTube TV announces third price increase to $49.95 per month. This must be something different from what we have. I don't know what that is. What is YouTube TV?
I guess that's something we all need to look into.
Announced they would be raising the price of their service to $49.99 a month. It's a 20% increase from its $40 tag from a year ago. This is something we don't have. I don't know what this is.
I wonder if that's the YouTube TV is the stuff like PewDiePie's Pew's Scared.
Well, we have access to that with what we pay for now.
I don't know. Can you Google it while we're talking about it? I mean, what does it say? What YouTube TV is?
I've never heard of such a thing. Let me click this link. Oh, well, that's interesting. What is YouTube TV? Shows for everyone to watch. Try it free. $49.90 a month. Cancel anytime. Cable-free TV is here. Live TV from 70-plus networks. Local sports and news. No cable box required.
See, I was looking into something like that where it was like a package of different shows, like AMC. And
It's exactly that. It's ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, AMC, Animal Planet, BBC America, BBC World News, Cartoon Network. It's like cable like we used to have, but no commercials. Remember E?
Mm-hmm.
Food Network, Fox News, FX, FXM, FXX, IFC, Sci-Fi, which I know you just cry yourself to sleep over every night, TBS, USA, YouTube Originals, something called Pop, a bunch of other things I've never seen before, of course, sports stuff. What you doing over there?
I am getting our Plan B in place. Okay. All right, Solana. Ready for this?
Yes.
Take the break, Solana, and when we come back, we will talk more with our family, ourselves, and our family out there of Space Cadets. Ourselves. And life will be good. Bumper cars and all that good stuff.
Bumper pool and Space Invaders.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
I'm from another planet. I'm from another planet. Can you hear me? Answer me. Can you hear me? Answer me.
The darn fool didn't have his lights on, sir. Our job is to prevent a possible nationwide panic by keeping the information from the public. I don't know why these saucers always have to wait till nighttime to put in an appearance.
Yeah, you know, Solana, I could really see Michael in that that shoot thing area at the Waverly, and then all of a sudden the jigsaw, whatever puppet comes down.
Jigsaw,
and,
yeah.
Would you like to play a game, Michael?
I kicked that thing in the face.
I can see you do it like, you know, throat punch.
Karate moves. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, great guest tonight. And I'm just so happy that Michael could spend some time with us. And definitely the Space Cadets really enjoyed our conversation with them. And, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how it was going to go because, like I said, he didn't have a book to read or anything. So I was just reading his blog, and he had this big section about the state of ufology as a whole, and I didn't know if we wanted to go there or not, so I tried to keep it more focused towards travels and more toward fun. Although he had some interesting points about the state of it, and right. I didn't think he really wanted to get into disclosure. We've really talked about that. But
well, you know, I feel like that the disclosure thing has been just beat to death, and it's unfortunate that because you know we want to know the truth. We want to believe in the thing that is out there that is eluding us, and it's so difficult. As a whole, when dealing with disclosure,
I don't understand.
And
this.
then this Tom thing, you know, just.
I don't understand this thing. Okay, first they did Project Blue Book way back when.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe after Roswell and all that stuff. Okay, and then we find out they kind of did another one without telling us, and then we're like, well, so what did you get out of it? What did you? And like, hey, yeah, we did it, and then that's it. They don't tell us what they found out. Why bother telling us you did it? Other than, oh, we took a bunch of your money for this project, but we can't tell you anything about it, so we stopped doing it.
Well, anyway, yeah, it's a subject that you know, I think that you know, will be at some point good to revisit, but right now it's being beat to death. And you know, we've had the conversations about disclosure before about we don't expect it to come from some guy behind a podium with an official head of state thing.
You need our government to tell you the truth about anything. Your head's not in the right place. For
some reason, I just had Jeff Foxworthy in my head. You might be a redneck.
Well, I might be. I'd probably come from a long line of them. But yeah, so that was a good thing, and it's probably too early to be talking about next shows.
Well, no, you can talk about it right now.
So, next week, we won't have a guest, but I'm hoping you'll come and listen because it's going to be a history topic, and it's going to be something I didn't know about, and it's just a little bit of research I've started. I've bought this book. It is utterly fascinating. It's like better than a Harry Potter book. It's better than, because it's real and it's history. I'm going to talk about American women code breakers of World War II. So, didn't know such a thing existed, and it's just very awesome, very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that that time period. And then when you brought up these code breakers, it sounded very fascinating. So I'm looking forward to your angle on that.
And then, so that'll be the 17th of February. That's next weekend. Mm-hmm. Now on the 24th, we're going to have a guest. Steve Colburn is a chemist and materials scientist. He's got 20 years of industrial experience in working with carbon nanotubes in nanotechnology, and he also is in the field of studying alien implants, and he even met Dr. Stephen Lear as a patient. So that's going to be utterly fascinating.
Yes,
I'd love to just talk to him about what I learned about implants from D'Souza's book, about them possibly reacting and maybe being sentient and, you know, moving around. And so we've got some good shows for the rest of February. Beyond that, we'll just keep you informed. We've got some things in the air. People are going to contact.
We're definitely working hard to get some new guests in, and pretty exciting stuff. And you know, just keep tuned in. You never know what's going to come down the pipe here at the SBU. So, but other than that, you know, let's continue on.
Got some good feedback already here.
Some conversations. You know, I also wanted to bring up that you know, we if you have a suggestion for a show, definitely send us that suggestion at contact@spaceboyuniverse.com. That's contact@spaceboyuniverse.com. Now, Kat sent us one that I'm still trying to get him on the show. It's a little difficult. One of the sites went down. So, Kat, you know, we are working on that one. It was an interesting topic, and hopefully we can get him. But if you have an idea for a show and you want us to interview somebody,
or just a subject matter,
for that matter, contact@spaceboyuniverse.com is the email where you can send it to us, and that way we can get your ideas on the show. And you know, any idea through our different topics: history, French science, gaming, music,
I want to do a quick
culture,
poll
and technology. Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were finished.
No,
Go ahead.
I had to get through. I'm done now.
Yeah, he was just saying it's not just fringe; it's history, French science, gaming, music, pop culture, technology. Those are our 6 topics. Anything in that field, or not. I'm kind of open to anything. So. Quick poll for our people in chat. Is Space Boy and I the only 2 people on the planet who actually enjoy the Valentine's chalky hearts? I suspect we are. Do any of y'all actually like those little conversation chalky hearts? Because we do. I'm just curious. Anybody else like that? Are we the only 2 weird people left in the world? So anyway.
Okay, that was
anything?
That was kind of out of left field, but I can understand since it's Valentine's month, or Valentine's Day is coming up, and you know,
next week,
the 14th, I think, is that Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
not that means anything to us.
Yeah, I'll walk into the front door when I get home, and she'll say,
like, "Yay, whatever, it's you."
Oh, it's you. Okay,
it's you again. Yay.
But I could be bringing a cow home, and she'll like, "Oh, a cow! You got a cow! Move out of my way so I can hook the cow."
Well, those are interesting.
Well, you know. So, dead silence means that we're still live on the air. So, I got a chance to watch the Cloverfield Paradox.
What is that?
Well, this is the 3rd movie in the Cloverfield universe that J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot has produced. It went. I don't want to say that it was straight to.
Are those all tied together? All the movies that have the word Cloverfield in it?
There,
is there some kind of connection?
There is a connection somewhat there, and this Cloverfield, not to give it away, but it kind of explains a few details about the other 2 movies. The original Cloverfield, and then I think it was 10 Cloverfield, which John Goodman was in. There's marketing there, and you know, that you can go online and find that they're kind of tying this all together. Now, not only has this come out, right, this movie on Netflix, which, by the way, I got to see it, was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. They're also going to have another Cloverfield movie that should be out by October. I don't know if that's going to be released on Netflix or out in the theaters or not, but it takes place during World War II. And so it takes place in the past. So it was good. It was about dimensions and bringing two dimensions together and yada yada yada. But I don't want to give it away. I want to give everybody a chance, if they do have Netflix, to check it out. I like the science fiction angle on this, on a space station, and the talking about the God particle, and it was just. Are you okay over there? You look distressed. You gonna make it?
I just kind of felt weird all of a sudden.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Well, I mean, you ate half that bag or box of crackers there.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
So anyway, I recommend Cloverfield Paradox on Netflix right now. Go ahead and check it out. As we talked earlier in the beginning of the show, I've been binge watching Battlestar Galactica, trying to make it through there. I'm not quite done there. I kind of already know how it ends because, with me, I always check out things and kind of read ahead so I know what to expect, so that I can actually sound intelligent when I tell you about something. And so I kind of got the idea for that. And like I said, my most recent one that I finished was Parks and Recreation. I like the show. And because it's kind of positive, and so and one of my favorite characters out of there is Ron. He's the guy that has a mustache. If you've seen videos or pictures of the show, I know you're shaking your head over there. If it's not black and white, then you haven't seen it, Sarlotta. So, meaning reading Kindle.
Oh.
Yeah. Man, the energy just went out of you.
Oh, sorry. I feel like I've been sucker punched in the stomach.
Okay.
Suddenly. Sorry.
All right.
I don't know what that's all about.
You got a tasty beverage over there? A
little bit, but no. When you're done, I want to ask you about something.
Okay, you can ask me now.
I just saw this just now. So maybe you've got some more insight on it. Here's the headline. Hot Sauce King Billy Mitchell is in danger of having his Donkey Kong record stripped away. What do you know about that? I've kind of heard a little bit about that, and it kind of caught me off of right field when it comes to right
this.
guard is an underarm deodorant. Left guard, I guess, is for women. I don't know. But it's a scandal. They're saying, he has the record. The record for Donkey Kong.
Right, The King of Kong was a good documentary.
You and I both saw that
we saw
about how he got there. So the decision there was an in-depth analysis of the videos Mitchell used to secure his recent high scores, which were reportedly determined to have been played not on an original Donkey Kong cabinet, as he claimed, but on a computer emulation program called MAME.
MAME. Yeah. Because there's a certain glitch that's on the MAME that basically, in other words, hardcore people that have played Donkey Kong, the actual
on the
arcade on that system board that was created for the arcade, versus the MAME
emulator.
The emulator. There's a bug that exists in the MAME, and didn't tell anybody. So this guy. When you see Billy Mitchell, it's hard.
He looks like a butthole.
He is. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Because the other guy in the King of Kong in that documentary, that other guy was just your average Joe, just trying to beat the score.
Oh man, he took video of it. That guy, I can't remember his name. He's got a cabinet in his garage. And you hear his little daughter, I don't know how young she was, screaming in the background. He was so close. He's like, Daddy! You think somebody was stabbing her in the next room. So, of course, he had to step away and find out what's wrong with his kid. I'm just like, see, this is a good argument for not having kids, so mess up your Donkey Kong score.
Yeah, so, the score that...
So what they're saying
out there, it could be that he didn't do it on. See, because the
sanctioned
hold the record, you have to do it in the arcade cabinet with that particular system board. It
has to be the original game. Yeah. So it says the discovery sparked rumors that Twin Galaxies is the record hall for classic games.
This is all coming back now.
They're gonna the rumor is they're gonna strip away Mitchell's scores that couldn't be confirmed that he played in public. So they issued a statement today. This is dated February 2nd. That the evidence against Mitchell, which showed up in the Donkey Kong forum, has already been scrubbed. But it's still under review. They've yet to reach a decision, so it's not happened yet. It's a rumor. What's this guy's name? Steve Webby?
Yeah.
Okay. Mitchell is the 12th place in the rankings. Webby at 11th, and Ronnie Lakeman currently holds the actual top spot. That King of Kong documentary did draw a lot of drama on Mitchell's image as, just a butthole. That's what he came across as. I didn't know he was a hot sauce king. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
I guess he diversified, arcade
but
game.
That look, the smug look on his face on this picture, I don't like it. I don't like his attitude.
And then there's some belief that there was a guy that was recording the scores, didn't record it or recorded it wrong, and apparently this guy's in jail. And so there's a lot of stuff coming out on this, and just every time
something only us nerds care about.
It's just every time I look at this guy, I can't. He's like the evil '80s bad guy.
Yeah, he's got that long mullety.
He's got long hair.
It's not mullet, but it's
long hair to his shoulders. He's got a properly trimmed beard. He's wearing I guess a jacket and a tie. And he just oozes the bad guy from the typical '80s movies. So, and it's kind of like he just never grew out of
the '80s.
The '80s, he grew up and then he emulated what an adult might look like from an evil CEO company.
From the '80s.
Yes, from the '80s. So yeah, it's yeah. I guess I have a bad taste in my mouth of this guy because he just...
Yeah. We saw a documentary and it didn't paint him in a good light, or he didn't come across as a likable guy, nerd that just, came by as an underdog. He just came by as a butthole. Anyway, so we've just gotten through this whole don't eat laundry detergent things, right?
Oh, don't tell me there's something else out there.
Well, now you've got to start telling your kids... Don't sneak into an IKEA and sleep there.
Oh, well, that's been going on for a while.
Well, apparently it's called the 24-hour challenge, and they've been doing it in the UK. So it's encouraging mostly young kids, I'm guessing teens maybe, to hide and build forts in large stores and warehouses overnight, particularly IKEA, because that would be the easiest one, because one, it's large. Two, you can get lost in there without meaning to, and you've got a lot of fort building materials. So... This happened after they had to issue this warning after an 11-year-old went missing in, I guess, an IKEA at some point here. This kid reappeared the next day, having spent the night in the Swedish furniture retailer, presumably for likes and retweets. His family and local authorities made public statements warning other parents about this dumb trend. And not only is it potentially dangerous for the kids, but it's just dumb and... security, not knowing you're there, they could do anything to you, thinking you're up to no good, like you're a thief. So they've been plaguing European IKEAs. Now, we do have an IKEA, 5 miles from this house, but I've never felt every time we go there, I just want to get out. I mean, it's a cool store. They've got some cool things, but you get to a point you feel like you're on this long hike, and it's never going to end. And you don't know where you'll see a bathroom again, and all you want to do is if we ever make it home and get a shower,
I think that when I go there, I feel like I'm looking
I'm looking for
the cheese at the end of the maze.
They want you to spend as much time in that store as possible. So this started back in 2016 when a pair of Belgian YouTubers posted their sleepover prank online to idiots at night in an IKEA. They were forced to publicly beg people to stop hiding in their cabinets. This is IKEA saying, please don't stay here and hide in our furniture. Didn't stop the sleep in a supermarket challenge. Again, this happens over in Britain. Another YouTuber spent the night in IKEA saying he had a 16-minute video documenting the stunt, and it was absolutely incredible, he said. Had over 3 million views. Local police are dealing with this latest resurgence. People are going to look for stuff to do like this. You can't get away from it, really. I just thought it was funny because let's think about all the things that have happened in an IKEA. Let's see, that monkey. Remember that monkey with that little coat?
Free Darwin, yes.
And now kids are spending the night there. They did do a advertisement where IKEA released a bunch of cats in there. Now, that was part of a campaign. They did that on purpose, but interesting things happen in an IKEA. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, like Swedish meatballs.
Those are actually pretty dang good. They
They
have
are.
the free samples.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to keep you in there.
Yes. Ooh, what's this? Swedish meatball. And would you like to get the new desk?
Do you have anything, or do you want me to keep going?
No, keep going. Yeah, I'm looking for my next
Do you want to
title.
know 10 movie remakes that were way better than their originals?
Well, why don't we find out, Sir Lana?
Well, it says 10, but there's 15 here.
Maybe they had a tide.
Is Scarface a remake?
Yes, it is.
Of what?
The original, back in the... I remember it was black and white, and in the tale of that Scarface was Italian Americans.
Original Brian De Palma's remake. Okay.
And then Brian De Palma came along and made the Scarface Cuban. Now there's going to be a remake of. I know it's interesting you bring this up because they're making another Scarface movie, and this one takes place in the main character is going to be Mexican, and I think it takes place in. On the West Coast.
Now, that's an interesting take. Now, I've never seen Scarface because it seems like it talks to me as a movie, but I respect its place in cinema history.
Mm-hmm.
Number 14, better, is the Casino Royale 2006 version with, what's his face?
Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig. Easy. A worse version of King Kong was 2005. I never saw it. The better version of Judge Dredd was Dredd 2012.
Yes, I agree with that. In fact,
They said it was more like the comic, maybe?
Yes, it was exactly like the comic. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because, just this last year there was rumors and talk about...
I'm so glad you're glad I brought things up.
Yeah, because, you trigger things off in my mind. They're supposed to be bringing Judge Dredd to Netflix. And
as a series?
Yes. And
is it Marvel?
Yes, it is Marvel.
Huh.
And but it does. It's not. It's kind of its own separate thing. You wouldn't see Judge Dredd.
They're not all going to merge into an MCU thing.
Yeah, Judge Dredd is not like you're not going to see him on the Avengers, or you're not going to see.
I
him
would love to have a giant Infinity War style Avengers battle with all of them, and then all of a sudden Deadpool drops into the middle of it and just messes it all up. That's my fantasy. Better. Fistful of Dollars, 1967. So that was
Clint Eastwood.
It was a remake of an Akira Kurosawa movie, Yojimbo.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
That is a great movie. Clint Eastwood. Oh yeah, and spaghetti western.
Worse, The Mummy 2017 with Tom Cruise.
Oh, well, yeah. That put the nail, and I hate to say this as a joke, that put the nail in the sarcophagus because...
Nice one, babe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I stretched on that one, but it paid off. From downtown, he's on fire! Anyway, so they are blaming that movie as ending the dark universe.
It never got started. They killed it before it started.
They wanted to build like their own universe with
Dark Frankenstein, Dark,
exactly. So thank you, Tom Cruise.
Thanks for killing the potentials.
Mm-hmm.
Better, It 2017, which I haven't watched yet. They're saying that was better than the made-for-TV movie. Although Tim Curry's performance was delicious, they said.
And which movie is this?
It.
Oh, It, yeah.
It.
You know, I got a chance to see, once again, you're hitting these movies perfectly.
I'll skip some of these because they're lame.
The updated It is really good. By the way, we own it, so if you want to...
Yeah, I might check it. I don't think it'll scare me.
The thing is, I was going to say, it's not like a slasher movie kind of thing, you know, I could do without, but it's... We're hearing strange sounds.
What is that? Do you hear that? Now it's gone. Okay, I'm sorry. That was freaky. I don't know if that's happening outside or what.
Probably. It could have been.
It sounded like a horror movie soundtrack.
Anyway, so, yeah, you should check out It because it's really good, the updated version. And we own it, so watch it.
A better version was Cape Fear, 1991. So I guess there was a Gregory Peck version in 1962.
Pacino was in... Was it Pacino? Yeah, was it?
Let me look at his... no, it's
Robert De Niro, yes.
They're interchangeable.
He played a good one, and he played good in that one. Now, the original one, it was like, it was all right.
Worst version of Psycho was in 1998 with Anne Heche.
Mm-hmm.
Better, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, 2011,
right.
Which I guess there was a version in the original Swedish, you know. Better, Scent of a Woman, 1992. I didn't know that was a remake. Oh, it's a remake of an Italian film.
Whoa!
Worst, Halloween, 2007, which I didn't know existed. And that was the number one worst one, Halloween 2007.
Yeah. And, you know, it's, once again, you bring up a good movie there. They're supposed to be bringing Halloween back, and all the garbage movies that have had after, I guess, number 2, Halloween 2, does not exist. So they're bringing, what's that foxy lady that still looks good after all these years? Jamie Lee Curtis. Wow. What the heck is that?
Do you hear that now?
That is freaky, man.
What is that?
I don't know. Is it wind?
We're about to take a break, so let's get up and look. Okay, so there's something freaky going on.
If we don't come back from our break,
somebody call the Skype number. See if we're dead.
We're on our way to Sagittarius, and then we're going to take a jaunt over to
Alpha Centauri.
Alpha Centauri. So, you know, but anyway, Halloween. They're bringing her back, and or wait, that's Halloween. That's Mike Myers. Yeah. I had to think about it.
Jamie Lee.
Jamie Lee. Yeah, she looks great. Must be all that yogurt she's drinking.
Jamie Lee poop yogurt.
Yeah, the poop yogurt. It gets you going in the morning. So let's see here. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break.
We're going to find out what the heck is going on.
See what's going on, and we'll be right back after this. All right, we're back. You're listening to Space Boy and the
Cracker Eater.
Cracker Eater Solana over there. So, we try to entertain you. That's why we're not professionals. But
you can't be professional and entertaining.
No. So, and I forgot what I was going to bring up here. Discovery. Star Trek Discovery. I'm looking forward to the final episode of the season tomorrow night at I think it's 7:30 is when it comes on. As soon as 7:30 hits, boom, you can start watching it.
So, I have no dog in that fight. I'm sorry.
I know you don't. I just wanted to see your reaction. Now, I do know that there are people out there that are watching Discovery. And
who are these people?
Well, I know Dennis is watching. He's a big fan. I don't know if Yeg is because, I don't think Yeg is a very big Star Trek fan.
I'm surprised we're friends with him.
I think he's said some very disturbing things about Discovery, and I just don't agree with him.
Are you calling him out?
Yeah, I'm calling him out. So... But,
well, he's Canadian, so he can't get mad at you.
Yeah, I know. He'd be polite in telling me where to go. So, but yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow, so it'll be interesting. But, we went to break. But before we went to break, we were hearing these strange noises.
It sounded like haunting wind whistling.
Or maybe a UFO landing out in the front.
It did. I was starting to freak out a little bit.
What always trips me out, Solana, is that going back to Stan Romanek, remember the story part where he describes going to his front door and his sister is like... you were doing the other night, looking at the stars on our ceiling.
That's because I was bored.
I always get worried, okay, where are the aliens at, man? Where are the aliens at, man? Game over. So, every time I open the door like that...
You think something's going to happen?
Like there's going to be somebody out there. And, it's funny is I always check through the little peephole, too, to see if there's somebody out there. But, what am I going to do when I see, something like that through the peephole? Don't
open the door, for one.
So,
anyway,
yeah.
It sounded like tires screeching, like somebody's doing donuts in a parking lot. Although we don't have a parking lot, there's nowhere to do donuts here. So I don't know if someone's running up and down the road and slamming on their brakes. That's what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. And why they keep doing it over and over and over. That's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on. But, I didn't care for that sound because I was like, is there a video playing in the background? And,
Well, they have to be further down the street because we live on a dead-end street. I mean, our segment.
The frogs are out tonight because it's damp and wet. They're out there just singing their little hearts out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But speaking of singing frogs, Disney's streaming service will not include any R-rated movies, so these frogs will not be getting it on. Unsurprising, they're not going to feature R-rated content, so you will not see R-rated MCU there. You won't see Deadpool there.
So that brings me back to the Marvel stuff that's on there Netflix right now, like Daredevil and the Punisher.
So are they going to show that or not?
I mean, because I thought there was a stink about them taking that stuff over to the Disney streaming stuff.
Because that's not kid friendly, is it?
No, I mean, and then plus, you have Jessica Jones is coming back to Netflix. I'm looking forward to that. And
they're saying, CBS has actually enjoyed success with Star Trek Discovery as a subscription-based service. I'm like, whatever. So next year, you need microphone background.
Thought I was hearing things again, and
they're doing it again. So next year, Disney's going to launch their own streaming service. I don't know if we're going to get suckered into that or not, but they said it will cost substantially less than Netflix because they're probably not going to have as much content because it's all be Disney stuff. But that won't last. They always jack prices up. So they've got a limited pool of content because they've only got the Disney stuff. So they have over 8,000 ABC TV episodes, but my gosh, you've seen what those shows are. Who wants to see that? But,
I wonder if they would think about this for a second. They would probably bring back TGIF Fridays. Remember ABC?
They're not factoring things from Disney XD, Freeform, and other networks they own. Not to mention Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. They have access to. So I don't know what the official word is on that, but live action series may be on the way. Fans might mean a more mature take on Star Wars.
Well, then here's a curveball. Since they, part of that deal was with Hulu. So
really?
Could they possibly be doing a Disney thing, streaming service, and then what doesn't fit on that, in that nice little box goes into Hulu? Maybe?
Things like the Defenders and their ilk will stay on Netflix. So what does that mean? What's the Defenders?
The Defenders is kind of like, think of it as the Avengers for like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and
the lower level Marvel people.
The Kung Fu guy, I can't,
Magic Fist dude.
Yeah, the Magic Fist dude. Yes, exactly.
Big piece of news is no R-rated movies will be hosted or produced there. You said, the content will end up on Hulu, which Disney owns a stake in from their 20th Century Fox purchase. The news the Marvel Netflix shows will stay where they are is heartening for fans worried they're going to have to get another subscription service. So it looks like all the ones you just mentioned that you're watching will just stay on Netflix because they're not kid-friendly, right? So that should quiet fears that Disney's going to lighten all that content up, which would be stupid, wouldn't it? So Deadpool wants to make, Disney wants to make Deadpool sequels, but there's no plans for them stopping how it's treated.
Right.
So they'll just probably never put it on their service. They'll probably keep it on Hulu.
They won't censor it. They'll just keep it as it is.
Keep it as is, and then it'll land on Hulu afterwards. But I can't imagine Amazon not being able to pull that in too.
I think you'll still be able to purchase it. It'll be, Amazon is like a digital provider that you can buy.
Back in the day, when cable was in its infancy, towards the 80s and into the 90s, I actually enjoyed the Disney Channel. Those things there I watched.
Actually, I watched
the late night stuff on the weekends. It was fun. They'd have their own little version of MTV that was really cute. I liked that. And then I think it went all young, and just
more recently, I've enjoyed Disney DX, where they've had the redone version of DuckTales. I watch Star Wars Rebels. I watched that. And they did a Tron thing that was really cool looking. It kind of reminded me of was it Ian Flux from MTV?
Ian Flux, yeah. Never understood that show. I tried to watch it, didn't
bizarre. Get it. But so they've got some. I like to think of it as their version of Adult Swim, but it's not. They do Disney After Dark kind of thing, but it's not. When I that's kind of a wrong one to use because it gives the image of Cinemax combined with Disney. Skinemax. And I don't want.
Well, Donald Duck is not wearing pants. Come on now.
When has he ever wore pants? Actually, I think there was a thing where he wore pajamas once, pajama bottoms, and
he's clearly free balling.
All right, thank you. Good night, everybody.
So they're assuming what we're assuming about this streaming service is that darker content will remain on Netflix or end up on Hulu.
Right.
And all the lighter stuff for younger audiences on the streaming service. So you'd have a streaming service that you could turn it on and leave it on and walk away and let your kids just absorb that stuff, if that's the kind of thing you do. So there will be some new content there, new productions that will go straight to that service.
That's kind of like what CBS is doing with like Star Trek, and they've got a few other programmings that are exclusive to their subscribers to the CBS All Access.
But speaking of Deadpool, the latest trailers are out,
and it looks tight.
Good. It looks good. The girl who plays teenage Negasonic, whatever, she looks bad. I'm telling you.
The first one she looked good, but in this one she looks awesome looking.
Well, she got like the baby fat's gone.
Yeah, and, she's grown up a little bit, and
hair's grown out.
Yeah, and then just everything that you've loved in the first one. Think of that times 2. I mean, this movie, it looks off the hook. And I cannot wait to go see it. I know you will want to go see it.
Yes, of course. That's the one you won't have to convince me to go to. I'll be dragging you down there.
And Josh Brolin, man, he looks great. I mean, he really worked out for this part.
How does he get to be in so many MCU movies as different characters?
Well, I guess it just, the roll of the dice, I guess. He's playing Thanos. Sorry.
How'd you say Thunderbutt or something?
He's playing Thunderbutt.
Wouldn't that be an awesome MC character? Thunderbutt.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, yeah, it's time to end.
I buy that for $1. Anyway, so a little RoboCop joke there. But yeah, that movie looks like it's going to be great and exciting and full of bullets and guns and Deadpool stuff and, So.
Yeah, I'm looking at more stuff about Deadpool right now, but nothing new.
Nothing strikes your fancy?
Deadpool 2 is a bigger sequel like Aliens, says Rob Liefeld.
Oh.
Really?
Well, I know
you understand what that means.
I do know what it is. I mean, Alien was great as a starter, but when Aliens came along, it was awesome because you had all these Marines and the guns, and they were going in. Even, my favorite. Here's my favorite. Yeah, you stole my line. One of my favorite scenes. I think it's been deleted, but then they added it into the special features. They put these 2 sentry guns aimed down a corridor. Because the aliens were coming back and forth between the air processing plant and where the colony was. And so when these aliens started coming down, because they knew they were coming, these guns were just going off. And it was like Bill Paxton's like, man, they're just getting killed left and right. It's a shooting gallery down there. And
I didn't see this in the trailer. Says during one of the final shots of the Deadpool 2 trailer, we see Wade and Domino.
Yeah.
Set to jump out. I'm not familiar with Domino.
She's the African-American character, has the big fro going on, and she looks...
Oh, okay. Gang could be the mutant team known as Six Pack or Wild Pack.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not familiar with these characters, so we won't see...
Colossus is in it. Colossus.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Colossus, Cable... Domino is working with Wade, and then of course the blind lady is back.
We see her.
Joining Deadpool Domino's a cast addition is Terry Crews. Will be G.W. Bridge, a member of the Six Pack.
I believe that is the.
His full name is George Washington Bridge. Crews could be playing Hammer though.
Anyway, it's going to be a great movie. So we're excited to go see that. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see Star Wars in the theater, and But now, what's coming up in May is the Solo movie. Now, I've heard so much media out there that Disney's writing this movie off, thinking that it's going to fail. And I saw the preview, and the preview was halfway decent. I'm still kind of holding back on it, but, I'm not wild about who they picked to be Solo. I think there was a few other people that I saw out there that would have done a better looking Solo.
Yeah, but I would see it just to see Donald Glover as Lando.
Lando Calrissian. So yeah, I'm
but
excited.
I don't know that I'll go to see it.
You'll probably wait for video.
I'll wait for video,
or unless I buy snacks and stuff.
Did we talk about the Westworld trailer?
No,
season 2?
You were going to bring that up.
I watched it, but I didn't have the sound, so I just saw it, and I was like, those mechanical buffalo with like the skin coming off. You see it, their mechanical innards. It's like, oh, that's cool. So it looks like that's going to be interesting. Although it feels like, in a way, that show could have just wrapped up as a one-time season. Okay.
Well, that sounds like a call, Sir Lana.
This sounds like a call. A call for help.
You've reached the hotline. Who is this?
This is our hotline bling.
This is Dino. I wasn't sure I have so many numbers for you, but I got it. How are you this evening?
Great. How are you, Dino?
Pretty good. I had to eat my buffalo burger tonight, so I got on a little late. I have a bad habit of eating late whenever all these shows come on because I do stuff during.
I can imagine you're like eating your buffalo burger and you're like, oh, I want to say something. And you're like, you got food in your mouth, sir.
Well, it's more that. I don't want to get grease all over my brand new computer keyboard.
Ooh, la.
Greasy fingers. But I wanted to say something that was kind of funny that happened today. I was down at getting my my Saturday's Safeway food and at the grocery store, and I went a little bit late today. We've been having this spring-like weather, which is starting to change now, but we still won't get rain for a few days. But it's been like a week of spring, and it's been warm and 70 degrees, and so I've been overextending myself doing chores outside. Anyway, I was leaving the store a little late, and I happened to, after I loaded my bags, we had fairly blue skies, and I looked, this is about 4 in the afternoon, and there's a chemtrail going right across, and I used to think, oh, chemtrails, people don't know what they're talking about. But I pointed at it. I was in the parking lot. It was a jet just laying out. It was up real high, and you could just see the stuff spoken out, and it's a blue sky otherwise. That's not a jet engine. It's not a contrail. And a lot of people, so as I looked, this woman who was loading her groceries a few cars down said, oh, yeah, that's the chemtrails. And I was shocked to find someone, so I told her, I said, she ended up asking me for my phone number. She was about my age. And I said, I've got to turn you on to I took out my alien head keychain. I said, oh, I know. She goes, oh, I've known about those chemtrails for years. People act like it's not true, but it is, and so it was unbelievable that you'd find in random, in public, a like-minded soul. I guess there are more of us than we know, and I'll turn her on to your program.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate that, Dino.
So if there's chemtrails, and we know about chemtrails, are the chemtrails working? So shouldn't they be like working to make us not be aware of them?
Well, no, I think that's the thing, that for years most people are looking down at their cell phones, and they just don't pay attention to the sky unless there's someone who camps or is outside a lot, and even then you don't. So when you look up, I think that they were trying to cover it up, but there have been releases in the back of your local newspaper where they have to file statements and legal statements and such, and there have been these that have said, permit for weather modification, and that's the buzzword. Instead of calling them chemtrails, it's being called weather modification or mitigation for rain or something. And there have been permits, but even if you don't see that, there are things on the internet that I don't think all of them are fake that show people filming jets. And then there's one I saw recently. I mean, Facebook is horrible, and they're becoming more controlling, but I keep my account open because I can private message people like you without having to make a phone call. But at any rate, I saw one recently that showed a Virgin Airlines jet at a public airport, and they zoomed in with a with a camera, and you could see nozzles around the fuselage of the plane.
Yeah, I think I've seen that picture.
Yeah, so anyhow, that's the thing. I mean, I used to, I still don't know. Weather modifications, what I've learned the last year, but then you've got people in the secret space program and other areas that are still secret that, that if you're out there far enough, they say, well, no, it's other chemicals for maybe, this gets weird, but behavior modification or even to thin the herd, God forbid. You hate to have a negative view, but could there be there's supposedly a deep state. Some people say there isn't. Breakaway society, and maybe in the first world and third world we're getting too populated. And so, look at this flu that came out. I mean, we all caught it, I had it for almost 3 weeks. I hadn't been that sick in 5 years, So.
Right.
So who knows? And who knows who's in on it, who's not? Is it just left something that's put in the fuel? But no, it sounds like these are actual spray things. I mean, Carrie Cassidy. By the way, have you had Carrie on once? Why don't you ask her to come back, see what else is up?
Yeah, we would love to do that. Well, since you brought her up, we'll reach out to her and see when her next availability is, and see if we can get her back on the show.
And have you had David Adair on? I don't remember.
Yes, we've had him on twice.
Yeah, because
we're actually due for a follow-up because
I've already done it and
haven't heard from him.
No,
huh?
already done it.
Yeah, for the grid hardening, because I sent him a message on his page, and before he'd answered back, he hasn't answered, and I want to know about the progress. I sent the letters, I made the phone calls a couple of months ago, and you get no response from your senator. You say, look, we got to harden the grid, especially if you're for terrorism, against, for or against FISA, the act of, which was horrible that it was renewed. I don't really think they're defending us with that act when they're spying on all of us, even those that are not guilty. You would think at least you'd want to harden the electrical grid, the gas grid, and we still don't have it, and we still hear about old computers and running transit system, computers that are 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where the danger would come. I'm worried about those being hacked and the horrible devastation that could be caused by shutting down the infrastructure.
Well, it is something that
concerned about.
To be concerned about. I mean, with all the money that's been dumped into construction projects, from our government, pick your administration, it doesn't matter. We could have, easily 3-4 times over protected the grid from a simple electromagnetic pulse disruption, and it can be easily done from our own sun, Dino. I mean, it's not even something where it could be an act of terrorism or an act of war where somebody does it. It could be from our natural universe that could put us out, and in something like that, we're way overdue for a technological overhaul of our systems.
And it's not that expensive based on all the budgets for all the things. I mean, we don't want to get too political on the show, but I still, no matter who you are, or how much you love or don't love the military, how many millions could be spent on what our current president wants a parade, like in my opinion, some North Korean dictator. We don't need to be parading our military, so we already have air shows and all, and maybe some of that money could go toward it. Or, hey, maybe even some of that money toward getting some people off the street that are down-and-out losers,
Yes, indeed.
Feeding people.
You're absolutely right.
So anyhow, David Adair, Kerry, I mean, the big job, but even some of the small-time people that just don't like to get out there that much. Look what happened last year when we had a surprise, Mm-hmm. You try to get somebody on that maybe doesn't want to be on a national show, but maybe on an internet show they'll talk to you, and if they don't want to talk for 2 hours, say, will you talk to us for an hour? But then they'll find out how much we love them and we have great callers, and they'll stay on like a lot of them do. But yeah, there's new stuff coming out. There are a lot of fakers out there, but anybody that you've had on before, invite them back. People that are telling the truth aren't going to change their story. They might find new things to come up with, but.
Well, we're willing to give them a platform, Dino, and you know us, and plus everybody that comes on has always said nice things about the Space Cadets, and it's a different atmosphere when people come on the show. So we've got all those positives going for us. Well, Dino, we got to wrap things up. We appreciate you calling.
Okay, well. Good night to the NSA or FBI agents that are listening to the show. We're nice people. You don't need to worry about us, so maybe we'll get some guests on. All right. Have a great weekend.
Bye, Dino.
Goodbye, Spacers.
Good night, Dino. All right. So it was good to hear from Dino. So real quickly, next week, Sorlana, is?
A history topic, and it's going to be the American code-breaking women of World War II.
History. I love history. I know Gene loves history too. So,
and then the following weekend, we'll have a carbon nanotube alien implant analysis expert, which is Steve Colburn.
Awesomeness. So join us next week, my friends, when you'll have the dynamic duel return to Space Boy Universe right here on the SBU Network.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Executive producer is Sir Lana. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K28, Dino, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Bob and Beverly N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.